लोकल टू ग्लोबल जावं असं ठरवलं आणि म्हणून मी मराठीत सुरुवात करून आवश्यक तिथे इंग्रजीची मदत घेईल. पण सगळ्यात प्रथम मी सावित्रीबाई फुले पुणे विद्यापीठाचं अभिनंदन करेन की एका अतिशय चांगल्या कार्यक्रमामध्ये सहभागी होण्याची संधी आपण मला दिली. तशी माझी पदवी किंवा पदव्युत्तर पदवी किंवा डॉक्टरेट ही पुणे विद्यापीठाची नाही, पण मी पुणे विद्यापीठात आयुष्याच्या एका महत्वाच्या टप्प्यावर होतो आणि पुणे विद्यापीठात असतानाच मी 2 वर्ष पुणे विद्यापीठात राहिलो. मग मला मुंबईत जायला लागलं, कारण मी आणीबाणीत सत्याग्रह वगैरे केला होता आणि इथल्याच येरवडा कारागृहात होतो. त्यामुळे पुणे विद्यापीठाशी माझं खूप भावनिक नातं आहे आणि पुण्याशी पण आहे. त्यामुळे अशा ठिकाणी या कार्यक्रमात सहभागी होण्याची संधी मिळणं हा माझ्यासाठी एक व्यक्तिगत आनंदाचा आणि अर्थातच बहुमानाचा विषय होता. त्यामुळे धन्यवाद. इन्क्युबेशन सेंटरला मी विचार करत होतो 2-3 वर्षापूर्वी, ज्यावेळी आम्ही रामभाऊ म्हाळगी प्रबोधिनीत अटल इन्क्युबेशन सेंटर सुरू केलं, त्यावेळी आपला असा आग्रह असला पाहिजे, साधारणपणे आपलाही असणार, माझी खात्री आहे, की या सगळ्या नवीन ज्ञानशाखांमध्ये आपण मराठी परिभाषा विकसित करण्याची गरज आहे. आणि त्यामुळे इन्क्युबेशनला मराठी शब्द काय असा विचार करताना आम्हाला एक शब्द सुचला, बहुधा तो बरोबर आहे, तो म्हणजे प्रतिभा पोषण केंद्र. त्यामुळे हे प्रतिभा पोषणाचं अतिशय मूलगामी काम आहे. प्रतिभा प्रत्येकाचीच असते, या ना त्या प्रकारची असते, पण तिचं पोषण होण्याकरता जी अनुकूलता निर्माण व्हायला लागते, ज्याला आपण इकोसिस्टम म्हणतो, ती होत नाही. आणि त्यामुळे प्रतिभा बहरण्याऐवजी कोमेजून जाते आणि कुपोषणाचा प्रश्न याही क्षेत्रामध्ये आपल्याला जाणवतो. आणि त्या दृष्टीने अशा प्रकारे विद्यापीठांनी एक प्रतिभा पोषणाचं काम करणं ही खूप महत्वाची गोष्ट आहे. मला असं वाटतं की परंपरागत शिक्षणाच्या विचाराला 10 पावलं पुढे घेऊन जाणारा हा एक विषय आहे. आणि त्या दृष्टीने आता शिक्षण हे तसं कधीच केवळ बुकिश पुस्तकी असं नव्हतं आणि ते तसं नाही, ते तसं राहू शकणार नाही, याची एक प्रकारे खुणगाठ आपल्या ठिकाणी असल्यामुळे मला असं वाटतं की आपण हा अतिशय महत्वाचा निर्णय घेतला आहे आणि त्याबद्दल पुन्हा एकदा मी आपलं अभिनंदन करतो. नाउ द क्वेश्चन कम्स एज टू व्हाय वी शुड बी इन्क्युबेटिंग सर्टन एंटरप्राइजेस. व्हॉट इज दॅट इन्क्युबेशन अँड हाऊ डू वी इन्क्युबेट? आय एम शुअर people who are behind this initiative must have applied their mind. But I have been observing, and I am more here as chairman of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, that is more relevant in the context that the committee is also trying to apply its mind to all these new emerging technologies and their utilization in instructional design. For example, I am very happy to share here that I took over as chairman of the Parliamentary Standing Committee just about 4 months back, and the very third meeting we held at the IIT Delhi campus, and it was converted into a kind of a workshop, because all members of parliament, and I am happy to say that they belong to all political parties, they were interested in knowing about these new emerging technologies, and there were presentations made by the IIT professors on artificial intelligence, on machine learning, so on and so forth. So it was a very educative exercise, and I believe elected representatives need to understand that, because they are going to shape the policies for the future. And in that context, I believe even incubation or innovation, or rather both, are the areas where perhaps new knowledge creation, insight gathering is extremely essential. I believe I have seen there are incubation centers in IIT Mumbai, IIT Kolkata, IIT Madras, several such universities as well. But over the years, I don't know, at least it must have been at least 10 years or even more that the UGC started these incubation centers. But what exactly they have incubated all through these years, and what is the new value they have added to the table, one really doesn't know. And therefore, if there are, say, 10 startups that we are incubating, at the end of the period of incubation, maybe 3 years, 4 years, whatever you might have decided, thereafter, and then let there be a window of 5 years thereafter as well. And when we look back, whether those incubated entrepreneurs are really doing great or not. It's something which will give us some more insights. Because as it happens, राजकारणातली लोक स्वतःच्या आवाजाच्या प्रेमात असतात. तसं कधी कधी मला असं वाटतं की इनोव्हेटर स्वतःच्या संकल्पनेच्या इतके प्रेमात असतात की तिची व्यावहारिकता तपासून पाहण्याचं भान कधीतरी सुटतं. आणि त्यामुळे जसं इन्क्युबेशन स्टडीज ही एक नवीन ज्ञानशाखा विकसित व्हायला हवी, तशी मला असं वाटतं विथ व्हॉट एव्हर लिटिल एक्सपोजर अँड नॉलेज आय हॅव, की एक इनोव्हेशन स्टडीज देखील आपल्याला विकसित केलं पाहिजे. की या ज्या एवढ्या इनोव्हेटिव्ह आयडियाज आहेत, डॉक्टर माशिलकर इनोव्हेशन या विषयावर खूप भरभरून बोलतात, अतिशय आत्मीयतेने बोलतात. पण त्यांच्याशी चर्चा करताना एकदा विषय आला आणि बहुधा अशा प्रकारचे अभ्यास जेवढ्या प्रमाणात व्हायला हवेत तेवढ्या प्रमाणात होत नाहीत. आणि त्यामुळे यातनं नेमकं निघालं काय, आपल्याकडे आता मुद्रा योजना येऊन 5-6 वर्ष झाली, पण या मुद्रामधून ज्यांना अर्थसहाय्य मिळालं असे जे उद्योजक आहेत ते किती स्वतःच्या पायावर किती काळात उभे राहिले, कोणत्या क्षेत्रात उभे राहिले, कोणत्या भौगोलिक पार्श्वभूमीत उभे राहिले, कोणत्या सामाजिक पार्श्वभूमीमुळे उभे राहिले, हा मला असं वाटतं की आपल्याला एक अंतर्दृष्टी देणारा विषय आहे. अन्यथा आपण प्रयत्न करत राहू आणि त्याचे परिणाम अगदीच मिळणार नाहीत असं नाही, पण ते अधिक प्रभावीरित्या मिळायचे असतील, if we have to make all our efforts more result oriented and productive, I believe such insight gathering is perhaps very critical. And therefore the question comes as to why incubation, what incubation, and how do we incubate. I believe the purpose of incubation is, as I understand, to cultivate professional standards, scientific logical methodologies, and achieve a professional, or rather professionally of a high standard and replicable success. Which again is an issue, because if somebody is successful in a particular area, may not be that the other will also have the equal amount of success. And therefore replicability, scalability as what they call, and of course the professional merit behind the whole thing is also, I believe, something very, very important. Insofar as what is to be incubated, I'm sure you must have evolved some standards or at least some criteria, because I believe while we do, we are here to incubate all the innovations, but those who are first generation entrepreneurs, whether they could be given priority, I'm sure they are being given priority. At the same time, those who are coming from rural and tribal background where development is still a far cry, also could be given a priority. I'm sure you are thinking on these lines. And insofar as how to incubate is concerned, if we really gather all these inputs with the studies of various incubation centers, I'm just leaving a thought. Can we evolve some kind of a standard operating procedure, SOP, for incubation as well? Because if I am going to be incubated, let's say I am an entrepreneur, then what I require essentially is some kind of a mentoring, some kind of a hand-holding, which goes beyond the parameters of incubation. Because there is some human touch which is required. There is some putting your hand on the back is required. So all these things go beyond the realm of traditional incubation, whether we can take care of them as well. We, of course, did not allow anybody to repeat the mistakes, but whether the persons who commit mistakes are also learning in the process, whether we are offering any ready-made solutions or we are not, we should not, I'm sure we are not, but still, and also try to give a message that there are no free lunches, because that is again something which perhaps spoils us. And that is also, I believe, is required. At the same time, some kind of a time limit for incubation. Because incubation is not perennial. When infants are not in a good shape, we incubate them. But that doesn't mean that for months together, that incubation should continue. I'm sure you must have already applied mine. I may not elaborate on this, but just whatever occurred to my mind, I'm just trying to share with you. Last 2-3 points. I believe there are certain areas which require our attention, and one of them as to how we generate new business opportunities in non-traditional areas. I was sharing with the Vice Chancellor, these days I also work with the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library as its executive committee member, and we are now in the process of creating a first of its kind Prime Minister's Museum, and all the Prime Ministers and their work will be showcased over there. So we required some agencies which are experts in light and sound show production, and we interviewed some of them. They were bidders who naturally responded to our tenders, but we found that, at least to my knowledge, there is no structured syllabus or a academic program for the production of light and sound shows. If we have it, I'm sure several places where we have precious historical monuments can create a light and sound show. Why there cannot be any light and sound show just across the main building of this university, which is such a historic building? So many more opportunities which are, of course, going to help us in enterprise as well, and job opportunity and related issues as well. They can certainly come up if we look into this. I am also aware that, for example, town planning is an area where we have not requisite number of courses. So if we can also try to have some specialization and create, maybe that is the reason why we have such ill-planned towns all around, because we don't have enough town planners. Whether they get employed, whether the municipalities are interested in giving them opportunity, that's a different story. But we don't have good town planners. That's a reality. So I believe these are certain areas wherein, if we can just try to apply our mind and come out with some new courses, innovative courses as well, that would perhaps be beneficial. Lastly, every technology, I believe, or rather every branch of knowledge has a sociological context as well. So there is something called as sociology of technology as well. So all these technological advancements, and how are they impacting on our society, and how the relationship patterns are changing, how our ways of communication are changing, how the proximity, interpersonal relations and things like that are changing, also require some kind of an insight gathering. But as it happens in government also, and I am looking at it from a very close quarters now, that people are more accustomed in working in silos. I am sure the university can think of breaking these silos, and maybe the sociology department can think about looking into the sociological aspects of these new and emerging technologies as well. Just a thought I would like to present before you. Lastly, to all the incubators who are present over here, and may your tribe increase, and therefore all those who are also associated with you, your friends. मध्यंतरी मी एक पुस्तक वाचलं, इकिगाई म्हणून, एक जपानी संकल्पनेवर आधारित आहे, आणि त्या पुस्तकाचं आपल्यापैकी अनेकांनी वाचलं असेल, प्रसिद्ध बेस्टसेलर पुस्तक आहे. त्याचा अर्थ असा आहे की जीवनामध्ये जे आपल्याला साधायचं आहे त्याच्याकरता 4 घटक महत्वाचे, आणि ते जर एकत्र आले तर तुम्हाला जीवनाची एक सफलता जाणवते. ते 4 घटक कोणते आहेत? पहिला म्हणजे तुमची पॅशन, तुमचं मन कशात आहे, तुम्हाला उत्कटतेने काय करावं असं वाटतं. दुसरं आहे तुमचं मिशन, म्हणजे समाज तुमच्याकडून काय अपेक्षा करतो आहे, एक नागरिक म्हणून आणि एका विशिष्ट ज्ञान संपादनातून पुढे आलेला एक नागरिक म्हणून. तिसरं आहे तुमचं प्रोफेशन, म्हणजे तुमच्याकडे कौशल्य कोणत्या बाबतीत आहे. आणि चौथं आहे ते तुमचं व्होकेशन, म्हणजे तुम्ही पैसे कुठून मिळवता. मला असं वाटतं की जे एंटरप्रेन्युअर्स आहेत त्यांचा असा प्रयत्न असला पाहिजे की आपलं मिशन